Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Tuesday morning. It's February 23rd, 2021. I'm the man they call Meathead. And joining me again for Tuesday mornings, it's Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. Whew. This is a rough morning for me today.
Yeah, tell.
Well, not the rough as in like, what Milwaukee's known for, the drinky.
Right.
I upped up my grappling game and did a
Ooh.
little jujitsu last night. So
somebody's about to get their jujitsu ass kicked at some point in Milwaukee, right?
Yes, a bit sore, but feeling good, feeling great.
Okay.
Happy Tuesday.
Hey, Matthew and I were talking about something last week, and I think you're the person to talk to. This might be right up your alley. There is a Milwaukee pretzel company, a Milwaukee Bavarian pretzel company that I feel like might be in your neighborhood. Have you heard of it? It's like on Capitol and Holton.
I've heard of it. That sounds more like River West. No, Shorewood, River West.
Yeah, River West.
Mm-hmm. River West, yeah. I honestly have never been to it. I am very well aware of huge 1 pound pretzels, though.
Oh.
Being from Milwaukee.
I might have to have my Milwaukee friends start shipping me some pretzels. That's what's going to have to happen next.
So instead of just Kringles,
yeah,
the area here
I'm not
shipping out Kringles. You
want
pretzels, a big 1 pound pretzel, but only from this particular establishment.
Right. Specifically, their dipping sauce apparently is a Sprecher mustard. Yeah, right.
Dip. Yep.
We're going to have to get these people on board as sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, and that's kind of what I was doing there, talking it up without them actually paying, because I want them to hear how good we do. I want to talk about our friends who do take care of us. And it's manscaped.com, 20% off with the free promo code PWR. You can get yourself silky smooth. My daughter asked me earlier this morning, we're only about 3 weeks away from the beginning of spring. We're closing in on spring, maybe 3-4 weeks. She wants to know when the ducks are coming, when the birds are coming. 3 to 4 weeks, sweetheart. They're on their way. And get silky smooth and ready for the springtime with manscaped.com. Plus, our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com are going to get you wearing some of the latest and greatest in spring fashion for 2021. The promo code PWR360 will get you 10% off over at collarandelbowbrand.com. Linda, again, we got to get the senior intern. We don't have one right now. The fanny pack kids no longer interning with us, but we got to get them to call the Milwaukee Bavarian pretzel company and get a deal worked out.
Gotcha.
Hey, Raw last night, there were some things that happened and some people that were missing. Where do you want to start? Things that happened or people that were missing?
Things that happened. And then we can discuss the missing
2 different times last night. We got a promo video for a debuting superstar, Rhea Ripley. Her brutality is coming to Raw. We've been talking about it for months. If you listen to man they call Meathead and PWR today here, he's been talking about Rhea Ripley for a year, saying it's time. Rhea Ripley belongs on Raw, and she is coming to Raw. What do you think is going to happen with Rhea Ripley before WrestleMania?
Well, definitely see her challenging for the Raw Women's title. But the way to get there, is it going to be a surprise run-in after the title may have changed hands, meaning Charlotte getting it back? Because I know you've been calling this Rhea-Charlotte rematch
since April.
Yes. I was going to say for months, but a whole year. Yeah. Looks like that could be coming based on what happened last night on Raw between Charlotte and Asuka.
Yep.
I feel we'll just keep getting more promos. Like last night, it was just a quick glimpse. We'll get more promos, longer pieces. So, everybody who watches WWE obviously knows who Rhea Ripley is, but just a longer in-depth package to let everybody learn more about Rhea and her accomplishments. And I think that's kind of where it's going to go with her and Charlotte. And just considering how things went last night, I'm not really sure what other angle they'll go with Charlotte now, considering Lacey is now out indefinitely for months.
Yeah, and that affects Team Long Time, where there's a possibility the one and only lovely Linda Kay might be having to drop Lacey and maybe pick somebody up. Who knows?
I have.
Yeah, that's right. That was Sheamus. Welcome to Tuesday, Meathead, not Sunday. Wow, that was we might have to edit that one out. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Lacey Evans dropped. Sheamus picked up. Also, some other news real quick. PWR draft news coming off the heels of Sunday night's pay-per-view. Team Matt Damian has dropped the Usos. The Usos have been dropped. The injury to Jimmy qualifies it as a drop, even though Jay hurt his toes. I believe Jay will still perform. He says he is picking up the CHO. You know what that stands for? The Chief Hurt Officer, Bobby Lashley. And he's picking up Bobby Lashley 1 week before what we might have next week in a new champion. And we'll talk about Raw in a second. But one other thing I want to talk about before we go down last night's show, where was Drew McIntyre?
Mm-hmm.
Never mentioned by name, except for the former champion.
Right. I was anticipating him interrupting Miz and Lashley at the very beginning opening segment.
Sure. Or something with Sheamus and Hardy.
Right. That could have progressed the shenanigans between the two of them.
Yeah.
Or possibly even later on when Braun Strowman came out. Yeah. Very, very odd considering. I mean, I know we talked about that rematch clause. If it exists, it doesn't. But still, it was not beaten. Well, he was won fair and square in the rules of not having or being the Money in the Bank champion, but under some other shady circumstances, considering it being cashed in on him, involvement with Bobby Lashley and whatnot. So, that makes us wonder: is he injured?
I don't know, but he is now a 2-time loser because a 16-time world champion that is not the champion is also a 16-time loser. So. That just means that there's a possibility Drew McIntyre could win his 3rd world championship at WrestleMania or some point after that. Let's talk about the man who did win the WWE Championship on Sunday night with the cash-in. And let's talk about how he is the first ever in the history of the business to be a 2-time Grand Slam winner. Now, no one knew what that meant, but now when you think about it, he not only did it once, became a Grand Slam winner, which is rarefied air to begin with. I mean, it's Hall of Fame worthy, right?
Yeah.
Did it over again and did it again. It's like playing Call of Duty and prestiging, where you went through the entire game, you ranked up to the top, and you started over. Let's run down his stats. The Miz, 40 years old, has won 20 titles in the WWE. He's only wrestled for this one company. The Miz is a 2-time WWE champion, 8-time Intercontinental champion, 2-time U.S. champion, 8-time tag team champion. Where in those he won the WWE Tag, World Tag, and SmackDown Tag titles. Out of the 8 tag team title wins, Miz won it with 5 different partners. He won it with Johnny Drip Drip 3 times, John Morrison. He won it with Big Show twice. He also was a tag team champion with John Cena, Damian Sandow, and Shane McMahon. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say that The Miz is a first ballot Hall of Famer right now, I don't know what does. Because, Coco Beware is a Hall of Famer.
Right. With Frankie.
Not to run down Coco, but, I mean, you compare the 2 careers.
Right. And I truly believe that the WWE Universe, the IWC, all truly believe that Miz is Hall of Fame bound, deserves it, and is a true talent for WWE over all these years, but feel like the gimmick for us as fans, I mean, I love The Miz, but for those who may doubt him or don't see him being deserving of being in the Hall of Fame or for his accolades, it's just what you want. It's the thing to do or the thing to believe. You want to boo the good guy, that kind of thing. Not using that.
See, the thing with Miz is Miz the face of the whiny millennial wrestler? I mean, that's a legitimate question.
I didn't realize that was a category, but
think it out for a second.
Appealing.
Yeah. So, I mean, when The Miz came in, guys like Bradshaw would just rag on him because he's not that old school, tough guy wrestler. Right.
Yeah. We knew him from being a reality show star before.
Hoorah!
Yes. I loved Real World and the Real World Road Rules Challenge. I liked him. I thought he was great. And I always remember watching, oh my God, so many years ago, him talking about being the Miz and liking wrestling, I was like, I like this guy because I knew he liked wrestling as well. But you know what? He worked his way up. He wrestled in the indie scene.
Kicked out of
he was at
locker
OVW. He did his thing, and got called up. And granted, WWE used him being like the Diva Search host and other ways that may have pulled him up from the actual ringside talents he could have showed. But I mean, you ran through that list. 2-time Grand Slam champion in WWE. No one else has done it. Hats off to the Miz.
Yeah. Again, like I said, is he the face of the millennial whiny wrestler? The one that he knew the new era of the non-big man that can make it in the WWE or AEW or whatever. Is he the face of that? And, is he believable as a champion? I believe him as a champion because he's always been the master strategizer. He's always found a way to use his talents and get in and out and do what he has to do. Now let's talk about Raw last night. There was no way Raw was going to start off without Miz TV. It had to be, right? And that's kind of why we did the rundown on the Miz here. It had to be Miz TV. He had to tell you, I told you so. Here was what kind of caught my attention. He ran down these names of people that he ran through, and he threw Bobby Lashley in there. That was obviously a setup for MVP and Bobby Lashley to come out later. Mm-hmm. But Miz hasn't blown through other people. Those are very select names that he put in there. I mean, he didn't mention any names that weren't in the company, like Jericho or, Moxley or any of those kind of guys, or, Sting or, any of those guys. He didn't mention any of the Seth Rollins, or he didn't mention, any of those guys. I don't like this particular build that they're doing. Lashley should have destroyed him. But you know what? He made Lashley look like a punk bitch. Sorry about the language, but the character, he made him look like a punk. Because he says, you got to the top of the hour. The top of the hour came, and he did nothing about it. And it has nothing to do with Braun Strowman coming in there. It had to do with, I gave you this time. You said I need another week. You should have popped him in the mouth. But you look like a punk. What was your thought? We're kind of bouncing around here, but we're talking this whole segment here, okay? So what was your thought of how Miz came out, how he celebrated, how he's won, and he run through everybody, MVP and Bobby coming out, and then the segment with Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce, where he didn't do anything about it?
Yeah, that threw me for a loop. I mean, they showed the countdown numerous times that first hour of Raw.
Right, they made it relevant.
What you want to see is what you came to see. And seeing from the pay-per-view, Miz and MVP talking, and then obviously Lashley helping Miz, there was that setup for a Lashley-Miz match, which they discussed. But I didn't think they needed to go into such... I don't say theatrics, but just with the countdown and the face-to-face, like
if Bobby would have kicked his ass, it would have been worth it.
Yeah. Instead, they flipped the script in the same night. Like, I can see if maybe he had till next week, like you said, and then maybe someone got injured or they rewrote something. I don't know. But in the same night, it started off with what could have been a beatdown on the Miz, but instead
he talked his way out of it.
Yeah. Instead, and Pierce came out. I mean, which was fine. That was fine. But then Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Shane, like that. I didn't like that at all. It was a twist that I don't think was needed.
Well, I love Braun Strowman.
Well, but just
Braun Strowman mumbled over his words a couple times. Maybe he was nervous, maybe whatever, mistake. I understand. Even Shane McMahon came out, sweating too. And
but it wasn't fair to Lashley and MVP. That wasn't the deal. I know it wasn't on paper, but the whole lead up to it, you wanted that Lashley Miz showdown. You got a taste of it.
They lessened the importance of it.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Yeah. So it led to the main event, and again, we're going to bounce around a little bit here. It led to the main event, which was going to be Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley kind of handily beat Braun Strowman. I want Braun Strowman to do more. I think Braun Strowman's got a great look, and he looks like he's in great shape. I know that he have a little bit of a health issue just recently. That's where he's been, but he looks good. He looks like he's back. But him coming in and saying, "I want it. I want it. I want it now. You give it to me now." That doesn't work that way. Come on, you're not going to verbally punk out Shane McMahon. It's just not going to happen. Shane McMahon, maybe from 1999. You can threaten him, but Shane McMahon's jacked. I mean, Shane McMahon's ripped for whatever age he is, and we've seen what Shane McMahon will do in the wrestling ring the last, 15, 20 years. You're not going to punk out Shane McMahon. It's just not how it's going to be. So I did not like the way this played out at all. They have a chance to reset it next week. Maybe Braun will cost them the match. Maybe Bobby Lashley wins next week. I don't know, but didn't like the whole segment. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, the way I'm seeing it work out is Braun Strowman interfering next week, somehow dragging it on to Fastlane, maybe, because I want a Lashley Miz match, and that's what I was hoping to get to Fastlane. I know that's still a month out, so I guess you got to throw a couple.
Almost exactly a month. What's today? The 23rd? Yeah, Fastlane's the 21st.
21st, yeah. I know you got to kind of throw in some loopholes, some tricks, some bumps in the road, if you will, to get to where you got to be in the fast lane. But
yeah, Don Henley put us life in the fast lane too.
In the fast lane.
Yeah, show the man can lose your mind. Riddle took on John Morrison, and Johnny Drip cost, and they teased it a little bit. John Morrison, Johnny Momo, was the reason Lashley lost his belt Sunday night, the U.S. belt, because of the crutch to the back of Lashley. So,
and then Lashley not even being involved in the pin.
Right, exactly. So, Riddle wins, retains the belt, even though I believe it was a non-title match, but I still think there's a lot of wasted opportunities there with John Morrison.
Right.
I gotta ask you. Go ahead.
I was
going to move on, so go ahead and finish this.
I would say he is an outstanding star, still in great shape.
Yeah.
So much talent on the mic as well. But I will say I do still like having Miz and Morrison together. They're just so entertaining. And they got each other's back. It's helping move along everything. So I like them together.
I think so. And they've got that, hit record as well. And that's kind of where I was going to lead us to. Bad Bunny. Let me ask you a question. And I'm being facetious, folks, when I say this, because I already know the answer. What's more disrespectful? David Arquette winning the WCW World Championship, or this hip-hop artist coming in and getting pyros and carrying around a belt?
That's what I'm saying. He's getting groomed for that WrestleMania match, or potentially actually getting some in-ring action. I mean, it's crazy because it's like, I feel like Damian Priest and Bad Bunny were just put together, just met like in real life, but also portrayed on television, or I didn't realize they were.
Well, there was mention in commentary. Did you hear it? Where they said they both came from the same neighborhood?
Oh.
They're both Puerto Rican from the same area of Puerto Rico?
I know they're both from Puerto Rico, but
Well, Damian Priest, look at his tights. He had the Puerto Rican flag on him.
Well, I knew that they were both Puerto Rican, but I didn't realize that's how they knew each other. My bad. I must have missed that.
That's okay. Or that's a story that they're adding to make it seem like they're more boys,
That too. We don't know. Okay, who knows? But I mean, I just wonder, does this mean Damian Priest, why won't he go after that 24/7 title? Does it mean he'll turn on Bad Bunny at one point?
I feel he believes it's below him, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see
and
that.
And the 24/7 championship, they're down to 3 guys chasing it now.
Yes. Where is Tucky? Who else?
Oh boy. I don't even know if Tucky has a job with the company. To be honest with you.
But anywho, looks like we're gonna keep getting fed more Bad Bunny.
Yeah. The Bunny was never good, and I feel they missed an opportunity. I know this is something I was pining for last week. I thought R-Truth should have pinned him on Saturday Night Live and got his baby back.
Yeah. Or at least made some appearance, but I guess maybe not everybody. Night. Maybe the common SNL fan may not get that whole. But he had.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're doing your cross promotion. So WWE last night got what they needed out of it, because that's all they talked about, and they talked about all throughout the Elimination Chamber. At least 4 different breaks of Bad Bunny on SNL, Bad Bunny on SNL, Bad Bunny on SNL. They got what they needed, right?
Well, do you know what's funny? Somebody who would recognize that belt more than, say, a regular SNL fan, me. I didn't even notice that he had the belt on his face. But I did fast forward through some of it. I was skimming through SNL, so I just didn't think
You
to
were
look
skipping
for
over
it.
it because it wasn't funny.
Yeah, and I didn't think to look for the 24/7 title. But obviously, there's a huge spotlight on Bad Bunny for some reason, and it is WrestleMania season.
I miss the days of Rock showing up to host Saturday Night Live, and then Mick, Big Show, and Trips
Triple
coming
H.
out to support him.
Yep.
That was a good day. That was funny stuff. All right. The New Day and Retribution, New Day's winners real quick. Mustafa Ali is also looking like a whiny millennial bitch, and he just keeps whining. Am I wrong?
I mean, he even said to them, what was his words? Something about failures or being disappointed or something about...
You guys keep screwing up. I hate it. I can't take it anymore. He just walked away.
That's interesting, considering he's the leader of Retribution, how much time and energy was put forth to Retribution. I feel they could still work with it, considering him and Kofi could have a thing going into WrestleMania. So why would
let go of the whole Kofi took Mustafa's spot in the Elimination Chamber a couple of years ago for Kofi Mania. They let that go already.
I know.
Yeah. Real quick, Retribution. I want you to think about this for a second. I want you folks to comment and reply back to us on this. Since the NWO, have we been doing at least 7 or 8 different versions of the NWO, trying to have this gang mentality? And has it fizzled out damn near every time in the WWE? I mean, we've had Nexus. We've had, the core. We've had Retribution. I mean, they've done it a whole bunch of different times. What was it? Team Canada, I think, after NWO, where it was like Lance Storm, Christian, and Test.
Mm-hmm.
This whole gang mentality thing just doesn't work. I miss the Main Event Mafia. That was one that I thought was working.
I mean, just gotta have the right players or the crowd behind you. I mean, it's hard to really get, Retribution did debut without any fans. So maybe they might have gotten a little bit more reaction, more love.
Maybe the website shouldn't have promoted them the next day. If you wanted to treat them as a true outside faction, maybe the website should have not acknowledged them.
But I feel, now that I think about it, if there were fans, how the fans are always hype when you've got the talent in the stands with them, and maybe that could have made... I mean, then again, you didn't want the fans in the stands. I mean, the whole point. Remember when they debuted, they were just wreaking havoc everywhere, and
they ripped apart the ring.
They would have probably punched some fans. I mean, fans in quotations, because they sure went after broadcasters, refs, talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the Hurt Business also was on the show last night. The tag team champions, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, taking on Lucha House Party. The winners, Benjamin and Alexander. Hurt Business standing tall. MVP raises Cedric and Shelton's arms with no pushback whatever. So, again, they keep showing this, 24/7 win over R-Truth with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny got pyro. Here's what I also didn't understand. I believe Damian Priest should be treated like just a guy blowing through people. Angel Garza got a lot of offense on Damian Priest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of that match did involve Bad Bunny, though.
Right.
The interaction between Garza and Bunny, that probably added to why it wasn't as quick of a match or a squash match or just a stronger showing for Damian Priest. I mean, he obviously got the win, but still.
Mm-hmm. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeat Charlotte Flair and Raw Women's Champion Asuka, who was not on the pay-per-view Sunday night. Excuse me. Charlotte accidentally kicks Asuka, so I think Charlotte's going down a path that she might not be able to get back to due to the mind games that have been played by Lacey Evans. I want to jump ahead of here a little bit while we're talking Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I was freaked out, a little creeped out, when they went back and watched Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler watching the Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Naomi and Lana match. Why is Nia Jax playing with Shayna's hair? What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, when they first paired Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler together, I was just like, oh, just another, random pairing that they're just putting together. But as time went along, I mean, I'm getting
Are they
it.
thinking
Like
about getting a 2-bedroom condo? Excuse me.
well, it started with them both trying to one up one another,
Yeah.
and them like not liking each other, but working together just to be champs. But they're gelling more as a tag team. However, they're still
there was a spark there. They're gelling more than just gelling.
yes. Well, I mean, but I think that just adds to it, like we're seeing them connecting more, but now it's like kind of getting a little more
that
odd. Well, odd to you. I guess I was just thinking like, oh, okay, it's already been an odd pair. Well, unlikely pairing to begin with, and now we're seeing them actually.
Look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, but no,
that's supposed to be seen.
I like that it's progressing, that they're getting closer, I guess. So, they are strong champions that are believable. Great heel champs.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I want to jump ahead. I had to talk about that because that just that came out of nowhere. It's not the fact that she did it. It came out of nowhere is what's throwing me off. Okay. Let's make that part clear. Hardy and Sheamus. We talked about no McIntyre, and these two guys haven't gone through the chamber Sunday night. Had to wrestle again last night, and Sheamus wins, as I believe he should have. Where's McIntyre?
Maybe he was just ill. They didn't, they don't like. They already. He was the only one they adjust that had COVID. I mean, he wouldn't have it again this soon, but
He's probably donating plasma.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Saving lives, baby. So maybe he just wasn't feeling well, or maybe he is injured and they just don't want to announce the severity of it quite yet until they know more. But I still feel like there could be something there's still unfinished business between Sheamus and Drew right now, right? But now we throw in Lashley and Miz, like which direction would Drew be pulled more toward right now? I know, again, we still have time leading up to WrestleMania because Drew has to have that title.
Less than 2 months, but yes. I mean 2 months.
Yeah, it is surprising that the former champ who just lost did not appear on Raw, right, angry and demanding a rematch immediately. Right. But
I mean, maybe selling the injury from the night before. Who knows? And that's
fine. That spear from Lashley took him out.
Styles versus Ricochet. Styles and Ricochet. This was a kind of a squash match. Ricochet takes a shot to the head with a knee, hits the Styles Clash in the middle of the ring. The real story that come off of this match is almost grabbing Ricochet and from about 10 feet in the air, throwing him down.
Yeah. Ouch.
And I'm being legitimate. I mean, because if Omos is a 7-foot tall guy, he had him a good 3 feet above his head. Wow. Main event, Strowman, Lashley, the new #1 contender, and we'll get a title match next week, Monday night. A new member of Team Damian. It's Bobby Lashley. Matthew is good, close personal friends with Bobby Lashley.
Oh, because from the Denver region?
Yeah, they're both from Denver. They say from Denver, Colorado, and Matthew Thomas from Denver, Colorado, as you can see on the video of him driving a Mustang with no real no snow tires in Denver. So,
yes, next time we talk to Matthew, or I chat with Matthew, I gotta ask about him and Bobby Lashley, their friendship.
There you go. I feel like maybe we should make that a show next week.
Perhaps.
I
mean, it would be a big thing to discuss if Lashley does indeed take the title for my guy, The Miz, Team Long Time. That would be.
That wouldn't be awesome for you.
No, but it would be for great debate or shenanigans between me and Matthew.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Big night of wrestling last night. Again, Raw was Raw. I didn't think it was good or bad. It was just kind of there, and we got more stuff. I don't think programs are moving along very much. Like I said, we just came off a pay-per-view, so we'll have more handed to us. Give me a debut date of Rhea Ripley, and then I'll be excited for that. But come next week, Monday, I want to know what happens between Miz and Lashley. Is Lashley going to be the champ?
Right. Plus, what was making Randy Orton so ill?
He had some Toshimi, I think. I don't know.
Right.
It could have been that, or it could have had the macaroni and cheese pizza from Lots of Matzo. I don't know.
Well,
a little pepperoni on the side.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out more about that, I'm sure, and perhaps an appearance.
You don't think it was
by Alexa
dietary?
again. What?
You don't think it was dietary?
I mean,
maybe he was shouting at the devil. You know, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps Alexa is indeed getting into him more than we think.
That's right. Maybe Alexa's inside him. You know, there's another dirty joke there. I just don't have the energy.
I was thinking voices in his head. Alexa. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, the voices in his head are Alexa. Great job, Linda. Drop the mic. We gotta go. For Linda K, I'm the man to call Meathead. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.